Hi everyone, welcome to This Is My Practice. Today's practice is going to be in the tapas style practice. So tapas means heat building and will building. And so that means we're going to be doing longer holds. Now, longer holds doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to do the fanciest postures under the sun and hold them for 20 minutes. We'll be doing some more intermediate advanced postures and some fairly simple postures, but holding them for longer than you may be used to, 2, 3, 4 minutes. Now, what's interesting about a tapas practice is that when we hold a posture longer, we discover new areas in our body that are either stretching or working, which is good and interesting. And also, really the main reason that we want to do a tapas style practice is to watch what goes on in our mind. So what happens mentally and in your mental process when you hold a posture longer? Do you feel like, oh, I could stay here all day? Or do you start to get antsy and want to get out of the pose and onto the next pose and flow and get out of the moment? And really a tapas style practice is to challenge our mind and notice and watch what happens between our ears. So the only prop that you will need for today is a block. Obviously, as usual, if you don't have a block or the prop that I request, you can still do this practice. But if you have a block, grab it, set it off to the side, and we will begin in child's pose. So come down onto your mat, take your big toes close together, take your knees about shoulder distance apart, and then stretch your hips back. Stretch your arms forward. And if your forehead doesn't rest easily onto the mat at first, this is a really nice place to use your block under your forehead. Support your head, support your neck and your shoulders here. And first, just allow your elbows to relax, your shoulders to relax. As best you can, relax your knees, your thighs, your hips back towards your heels. And begin to notice the quality of your breath. Notice the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale. And as you breathe in and out through your nose, start to lengthen and stretch your inhale. And stretch the length of your exhale. Give into gravity a little bit more in your feet, your knees, your legs, your hips, your spine. Relax your neck and your shoulders a little bit more if you can. Take one more inhale and exhale here. Stretch the inhale. And stretch your exhale. Stay with your long, smooth breath. Gently lift your head. If you are using a block, just set it off to the side. And come up onto all fours, onto your hands and knees. Step your right foot forward between your hands. We'll start in this low lunge. Have your front shin straight up and down. You can be on the top of your back foot or curl your toes under, whatever feels best in your back knee and your back foot. And just gently shift your hips from side to side. Beginning to open up the front of that left hip and hip flexor, the quadricep. So opening the hip flexors and the front of the thighs before we come into our first downward facing dog or forward fold. Anytime you can open the hip flexors first, it'll actually make your forward folds easier. Smooth breath in. And as you exhale, slide your front foot back, stretch your hips back, and we'll change sides. Rise up onto all fours, step the left foot forward. Come up onto your fingertips so that you can widen the front top of your chest. Front shin straight up and down, and then just shift your hips from side to side. Just think of moving this stretch around a little bit. So giving a little movement into the posture literally brings fluid, synovial fluid, into our joints, allowing them to warm up, open a little bit easier. A couple more breaths. And on your inhale, lift your chest slightly. And as you exhale, slide your front foot back, stretch your hips back through a child's pose, then rise up onto all fours. Place your hands a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart. Turn the pointer finger to face forward, curl your toes under, and on your first exhale here, lift your hips up and back to down dog. Just moving in towards down dog, and take your time. Pedal out your feet, shift your hips from side to side. You know in downward facing dog, hopefully, that you are not trying to press your chest towards the mat or towards your thighs, but if it feels good in your shoulders here, just initially press your chest down and up a couple of times. So remember, there's about 10,000 ways, if not more, to do every single pose. And when we're holding a pose, we don't want to press our chest down too far, but it may feel good initially to press your chest down and up as you warm into this first down dog. Stay with the quality of your breath. Notice that. Step your feet apart wider than hip bone distance. If you're ready to straighten your knees, reach the tops of your thighs back and lift your toes in order to stretch your heels down towards the mat if your knees are straight. Gently grip with your fingertips. And see how you can get a little bit more length out of both sides of your waist. So imagine that there was a strap attached to the tops of your thighs in the front, and someone that you really trust, someone that loves you, is pulling that strap back in order to engage the legs and lengthen your spine a little bit more. We'll just take 3 more breaths in this initial downward facing dog. Find a comfortable spot for your head so that your shoulders and your neck feel easy. And slowly step your feet a little closer together. And slowly begin to pedal out the backs of your legs. So bend one knee and slowly press the opposite heel down towards the mat. So that little pedaling in the backs of the legs. Continue with this pedaling movement as you slowly walk your feet forward to your hands. And really take your time, as if you're trying to take the next 5 minutes to walk your feet forward to your hands. So remember, it's all about the process, not about the end pose, not about getting there, but paying attention to the process. And that's really what a tapas practice is all about. So all the way to the front of your mat. If the backs of your legs and your spine feels fairly open, then go ahead and step your feet close together. Otherwise, keep them apart. Relax your head. Open the arms. Inhale, rise up to stand. Press your feet. As you reach up, look up. Touch your palms. And exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, circle the arms out to the side, reach up. Only touch your palms if it really feels good in your neck and your shoulders. Open the arms, exhale as you hinge forward, tops of thighs draw back, hollow in your stomach. Now to your fingertips, inhale, lengthen the front of your spine, halfway position, widen your collarbones. And with your next exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Now in this down dog, we are going to straight away hold for 3 minutes. And don't worry, I do have a timer. I'm watching the clock. If the backs of your legs and your spine feels tight here, then please do step your feet wider apart than hip width. Otherwise, have your feet so they're hip bone distance apart. Remember, you can always bend your knees if the backs of your legs or your spine feels tight. Gently spread your fingers, but no need to spread your fingers open as much as humanly possible. Just a gentle spread, and then lightly grip with your fingertips. Think of lifting your toes in order to reach your heels down. So there's action in the front of the shins, in the tops of the feet and the front of the ankles in order to lengthen the back lower leg. And as you press the floor away through your hands and through your arms, think of leaning the crown of your head forward towards that space between your thumbs. And that will enable your shoulder blades to slide onto your back. No need to press your chest down too far here. Gently spread your shoulder blades apart across your upper back. Enjoy this time in this down dog to be still. Continue to lift your toes. Lift your kneecaps up into your quadriceps so you're really engaging the front of your legs in order to lengthen the backs of your legs. And we just have about 1.5 minutes to go. Time goes so fast. Notice here if it feels best for you to close your eyes. If keeping your eyes open feels more comfortable for you, just keep your gaze soft, as if you were just about to fall asleep. So the eyes are soft, the eyelids, the eyeballs are soft. Breathing into your side ribs here. Hollow your stomach as you reach the tops of your thighs back. Gentle rushing sound in the back of your throat. With your tongue relaxed, your jaw relaxed. Take 2 more full breaths. Lengthen and stretch your inhale. Lengthen and stretch your exhale. 1 more like that. Now slowly, with patience, begin to pedal out the backs of your legs again. Just shifting from side to side. And take this pedaling movement all the way, feet to the front of your mat. You may have to bend your knees more, come up onto your fingertips. And at the front of your mat, inhale up onto your fingertips, widen your collarbones. Exhale as you bow forward, relax your head, hollow your stomach, and press your feet down into your mat. Open arms, inhale, rise up to stand at the top, press your feet, press your palms, and exhale, hands to your heart. Now step your feet a little bit wider apart, a little wider than hip width. Give a gentle bend into your knees. Sweep one arm forward and up. And as you exhale, circle that arm up and back. Let your chest twist. And we'll change sides. Inhale, reach the other arm forward and up. And exhale as you circle. One more time from side to side. Inhale, reach forward and up. Exhale as you circle. Inhale, reach forward and up. Exhale as you circle. Now inhale, reach both arms forward and up. Take hold of opposite elbows here and draw your arms back. Lift up out of your lower back, absorb your front low ribs into your body. Inhale. And as you exhale, hinge forward, tops of thighs reach back. Again, if the backs of your legs or your spine feels tight, you bend your knees here. And just shift the weight from foot to foot. Allow your spine to shift from side to side. Get that little swing movement and motion in your spine. Just like you're moving through water here. Allow your arms to be really heavy. The crown of your head heavy down towards the earth. One more inhale and exhale. Stretch your breath. And back to center. Release your elbows. Step your feet a little closer together, all the way together, if that feels good, on your spine. Inhale, fingertips halfway. And as you exhale, step one foot back, then the other to plank pose. And you guessed it, we're holding plank pose. So, 3 minutes here. Yes, 3 minutes. Now remember, in plank pose, you can place your knees down for half plank. That is completely legal. You want to stay where your body is strengthening. And you also want to stay where your breath is smooth and easy. So if you start to hold your breath, or your breath becomes too rapid, or you get a little agitated, then that is your sign that you need to back off. It's nice here to shift the weight from hand to hand, from foot to foot. Remember that exploring the pose is different than fidgeting. So if you notice that you start to fidget, you may be working too hard. Sitting bones and tailbone towards the backs of your knees, towards your heels. Give a little bend to your elbows. It does help if you smile in this posture, especially if you start to feel that you're working a lot. You gently spread your fingers. You gently grip with your fingertips, but nothing too intense. Front low ribs, draw them up into the body. Remember, you can have your knees up or down. Press down into your toes. And we actually just have a few more breaths here. Press your hands into the mat, and at the same time, put a micro bend in the elbows and widen your collarbones. Take a full inhale into your side ribs. And your slowest exhale back to down dog. Step your feet so they're hip bone distance apart. Now inhale your right leg back and up. Spread the toes of the raised foot. And with your exhale, step that foot forward between your hands. Bring your left hand a little closer to the inside of the right foot. And this is where I would suggest using a block. Either press your palm or make a fist, be on your knuckles in the block. Right arm out to the side and twist to the right. Soften your jaw, soften your tongue. Press down into the front heel and lift the back thigh. The outer hip of your front leg, draw it in towards your midline. And then notice just how much you can soften around your neck and the tops of your shoulders. Notice the quality of your breath here. Twist by using your stomach. You're breathing into your chest, into your side ribs, into your back ribs. Just take 2 more breaths here. Now slowly unwind from the twist. Set your block off to the side. Inhale to plank. Tops of thighs take you to down dog. Inhale the left leg back and up. Spread those raised toes. Step through on your exhale. Feet are hip width. Block to the inside of the front foot, palm or knuckles. Left arm open to the side. And really take it in stages. That's where you may notice your level of patience, right? So explore moving into the posture instead of thinking of trying to hit the posture in 1 second. So you press into your front heel. This is just a 2-minute hold. As you bend into the front knee, draw that outer hip of the front leg in towards your midline. Lift your back thigh. Close your eyes or keep them open with a soft gaze. Relax around your neck and the tops of your shoulders. You may notice that one side is a little easier to twist to than the other side. That is very normal and natural for all of us. Think of using your stomach in order to make the twist happen. So your chest, your shoulders, your neck, and your head are really just going along for the ride. The twist initiates from your stomach. Take 3 more breaths here and try to stretch your inhale and make your exhale last. 2 more. Notice what's going on in your mind. Take 1 more enjoyable breath. And then slowly, as if you're sad to leave the pose, like you don't want to go, you release, set the block off to the side, step it back to plank, and exhale, downward facing dog. Now, grab your block and walk your hands back to your feet. Just set your block near your feet here, open the arms, inhale, rise up to stand. And exhale, hands to your heart. All right, now we're going to put the block between our inner thighs. And I would suggest that you don't put the block between your knees. That can be a little uncomfortable on your bones. Don't put the block way up towards your pubic bone. That'll make the thighs externally rotate. But put the block, that medium spot in the fleshy part of your inner thighs. And you want the block a distance so that your thighs are hip width. So for me, that's more narrow. For you, maybe narrow or a little bit wider apart. Bring your hands to the back of your pelvis. Draw your shoulder heads back. Inhale, lift your chest. Just 3 breaths here. Lift your toes. And think of breathing your chest straight up towards the sky so that your spine is in an upward bend. You don't have to think of going back, but going up in your chest. One more long inhale, stretch it. And long exhale, stretch it. Inhale, rise up. Relax your toes. Inhale, circle the arms out to the side, reach up, touch your palms. Now open arms, exhale as you hinge forward, tops of thighs draw back. Walk your hands forward to downward facing dog. And you'll gently squeeze the block here. So you don't need to think of squeezing it as much as humanly possible. Just a gentle squeeze. If your knees are straight, lift your toes in order to reach your heels down. Now, if your wrists need a little reprieve, take hold of the outer edges of your mat here, like this. For some people, this works great. If it doesn't feel good on your wrists or your knuckles, then simply don't do it. Now place your head where it feels best in your neck and your shoulders. And our 3 minutes begins now. Smooth breath in. And long, smooth exhale out. It's all about the quality of your breath. So we're using our smooth breathing practice in order to balance out and calm the brain. Continue to lift your toes. If your knees are straight, continue to lift your kneecaps. Firm the front of your legs, make a muscle in your quadriceps. Gently squeeze the block. Hollow your stomach and reach back from the tops of your thighs. Really try to stand down into your feet, into your legs. Breathe deeply into your side ribs. Spread your shoulder blades apart across the back of your heart. And as you press the floor down and forward with your hands, also reach the crown of your head towards that space between your thumbs. So give yourself a nice, long, beautiful neck between your ears and the tops of your shoulders. Just a few more breaths in this posture. Enjoy the process and the fact that there is nothing to do right now except to be in downward facing dog and to breathe. That's the only thing you need to do in this moment, at this point in time, on this planet right now. Toes lift. Kneecaps lift. Navel to your spine, crown of head towards that space between your thumbs. And we just have one more breath. And then with attention, if you're holding the edges of your mat, place your palms flat again. Gently reach back, set your block off to the side. Step your feet a little closer together, exhale all of your breath out. Inhale slowly, reach the right leg back and up. Try not to fling it back. And with your exhale, step that foot forward between your hands. Now this time place your back knee down. If that doesn't work for your back kneecap, then simply keep it lifted. And bring your hands to your front knee. So we're in a low lunge. And first, just give yourself some wiggle room here. Relax your shoulders. Maybe shake your hands out. And lift your hips. Bring them down a couple of times. Just get your wiggles out for a moment here. And then find that sweet spot so that you're not pressing your hips down as far as possible. You're also not lifting your hips up as far as possible, but finding that spot right in between where you're getting some stretch and some work. Now bring your palms together in front of your heart. Press your palms and widen your collarbones. On an inhale, sweep the arms open to the side, palms up. If it feels good for your neck, lift your chest, look up. And with your exhale, bring the palms together in front of your heart, widen your collarbones. One more time. Inhale, arms open. And exhale, palms at your heart. Now release the hands, sweep your arms forward and up. And come into V arms. So elbows will be straight, but take the hands wider, palms face forward. And again, if it feels good in your neck, your hips, your lower back, look up and lift your chest. And we'll just hold this for a minute. Stretch your inhale and stretch your exhale. Make it last. The only thing you need to do right now is to be right here. You can adjust the pose if you need to. And notice the difference again between adjusting and exploring the pose and fidgeting. Those are two very different things. One more breath. Inhale, reach all 10 fingertips up. Slowly exhale, hands to the mat. Curl the back toes. Now we'll inhale to plank. Come down onto your knees and we'll move into sidearm balance but on the forearm. So bring your right elbow down, forearm parallel to the front of the mat. Stack your ankles and your feet. And we're just going to do this hold for a minute. And if you need a little less, place the top foot flat. Reach up through your free arm, your left arm. And our minute starts now. Long inhale and long exhale. Draw your front low ribs in. And if or when you start to feel that you're shaking a little bit, getting that little fluttering feeling, try to enjoy it. Like, wow, I'm getting stronger. That's really great. Again, but notice the quality of your breath. And we just have 2 more here. And now real slowly, return to plank, both feet, toes on the mat, and exhale to down dog. Step your feet apart. Inhale the left leg back and up, spread those raised toes. Long, slow exhale to step the foot through. Notice those moments that you want to rush. Try not to do that. Now back knee down, hands to the front knee, and then give yourself a little wiggle room here. Shake out your hands, your shoulders, and notice the reaction going on in your mind. If you like to move slower, if you're feeling antsy, maybe just thinking about something totally unrelated. But it's about noticing that. Noticing what's going on up here. Allow your hips to go down a little bit and then up a little bit. Working in and out of stretching and strengthening. And then find that spot right in between where you're getting some work and some stretch. Bring your palms together. 2 rounds with the breath. Inhale, your arms open, palms up, lift your chest. And exhale, palms together at your heart. Press the palms and widen your collarbones. Inhale, arms open. And exhale. Now stay upright in your spine. Release the hands. And sweep your arms forward and up. We'll move into our V arms. Palms forward, hands and arms apart. Lift your chest, your chin. We're not sinking down as much as possible into our pelvis. Press into the front heel. Lift the front of your pelvis. So there's some work happening. 1 minute. And make the quality of your breath reflect that sense of being able to be here just all day long. Adjust the posture so there's some work and some ease. Relax the jaw, your eyes, your tongue. 2 more breaths. Last long exhale. Look forward, inhale, reach all 10 fingertips up. Slowly, as if you're moving through mud, create resistance, hands to the mat. Now we'll first move into plank and then transition into our side arm forearm balance. So knees down to start is a nice transition. Then left forearm parallel to the front of your mat. Place the right foot flat and reach up with the right arm. Think of lifting up out of your bottom shoulder. If you're using that top foot, really press down into it, stand into it in order to help lift your hips up. The top hand, press it a little forward as if you're pressing that hand into a wall. You'll gain a little proprioception there. You may feel your stomach muscles work more. A couple more breaths. Now slowly return to your plank. And tops of thighs take you to down dog. Now in this down dog, step your feet wider apart than your hips. And walk your hands and your feet close enough together that you can firmly press your heels down. So it's a shortened down dog from front to back. Now first, bring your right hand to the outside of your left leg. Reach as low as you can to the outer shin, maybe the ankle, and then stand evenly into both feet. And we'll hold this for a full 2 minutes. Place your head where it feels best in your neck and your shoulders. And as you press the floor away through that front hand, the left hand, slide the shoulder onto your back. Still think of lengthening both sides of your waist here. Lift your toes in order to reach your heels down. See here if you can lengthen your inhale. Take your time and lengthen your exhale. Again, try to stand evenly into both feet. If your left hand is forward, that means shifting more weight into your right foot. Lift your toes. Tops of thighs reach back, hollow stomach. We just have a few more breaths on this side. Your supporting elbow is not hyperextended. Put a little mini bend into it. 2 more breaths. Now slowly unwind. Come down onto your knees. Uncurl your toes, sit back towards your heels. Now simply pause here. Or bring your hands behind you. Bring your knees closer together. Be up onto your fingertips and lift your chest. So for a little seated camel posture. Make sure you don't dump your head back in this posture, please, as if I'm watching, as if I'm right there in the room with you. Lift the back of your neck, 1 more breath. I know the tendency. And then inhale, lift your chest up. Stretch your arms forward, and we'll change sides. So start in your downward facing dog posture, and then step your feet wide. And step your hands and your feet close enough together that you can firmly reach your heels to the mat. Lift your toes to do that. And then left hand to the outside of the right leg, outer shin or ankle. As you press the floor away through that front hand, also slide the shoulder onto your back and then shift a little more weight into your left foot. So you try to stand onto both feet evenly. And here we breathe. So we first use the body's position really just as a tool to pay attention. So if we're thinking of lifting our toes and kneecaps and lengthening the neck and twisting from the stomach, it brings our attention into the body and into the now. And then once you have all of that happening, and you really settle in here for the long haul, notice what happens in your brain. Notice what your mind starts thinking about. And there is zero judgment, but it really is just about the practice of noticing what you start to think about. Not good or bad, simply notice. And that also helps to keep us in the moment when we notice. Notice the quality of your breath. If you can, stretch the inhale and the exhale a little bit more. Even the weight in your feet. Continue to lift your toes. Lengthen your neck. We just have a few more breaths on this side. Enjoy that the only thing you have to do right now is to be in this posture. One more inhale and exhale. And we slowly release. Knees to the mat. Sit back on your heels. One more time, bring your knees a little closer together. And either simply let your hands rest or come into a little seated camel, fingers behind you. Lift your chest, draw the front of the shoulders back. And then imagine a little string at the front of your chest, your sternum. And on an inhale, that string lifts your heart straight up towards the sky to rise up. Now just pause here. Turn the palms of your hands to face up. Let your hands rest, eyes open or closed. And simply notice for a few moments. Notice your body. Notice your breath. And notice your mind. If your eyes are closed, gently blink them open. And we'll come into gate pose. So, if I'm mirroring you, you will be on your right knee with your toes either tucked or on the top of that back foot. Take your left leg out to the side, and we'll first start with this left leg actually parallel. So the thigh, knee, and foot is not turned out, but parallel. If that feels a little too much on this outer hip, you're going to allow that hip to come up a little bit or turn the thigh out a little bit, your choice. Now with your right arm, reach up and really reach up. Try to get as much space out of that supporting hip as possible, out of your side waist. Even allow your shoulder blade to slide up into your ear, and then just relax your neck and your shoulder. And you'll reach up and over. We're coming into a side bend here. So the top palm faces down. We'll just hold this for 1 minute. Lift in the front of your pelvis so you don't drop into a back bend. Lift up out of your lower back. And notice that you can have all of these actions going on at the same time. You can reach through the top arm. You can really reach, like you're reaching towards something. And at the same time, you can soften your neck and that top shoulder. And that's the stability, right? So the expansive quality of reaching, opening, moving out, and at the same time being stable and soft and drawing into the center. And on an inhale, we rise up. And we'll simply change sides. Step your right leg out. Adjust your pants. Place the foot, that outward foot and thigh where it feels best in that hip. And then you reach up with the left arm. And first, before side bending, just really reach up. Just get as much length as humanly possible out of your side waist. Keep the length in both sides of your waist as you move it into a side bend. So you don't want to collapse, but there's still that lift, that expansive quality, as if your rib cage is being lifted up off of your pelvis. And the top arm reaches up, and at the same time, your neck and that shoulder can soften. That's the stability. We have a minute here. We gently lift in the front of the pelvis, and we lift up out of the lower back. So remember that every single posture has different qualities, expansive qualities, stabilizing qualities, and every single posture has different energetics. And if we rush through these postures, those energetics, those qualities, that effort, it doesn't soak in. So pausing here to allow the real magic of the posture to soak in. And just 2 more breaths. See where you can press down, see where you can expand and take up space, and at the same time, draw into your center, into your stability, into that grounding aspect. 1 more inhale. Then with an inhale, lift to rise up. And we'll release. Come into plank pose, either on your knees or with your knees lifted, and then exhale, lower to the mat. And now your choice, either come into Sphinx pose with your elbows under your shoulders. This will be a 3-minute hold. Or come into Cobra with your hands a little wider, fingers turned out. Remember, you can move back and forth from Cobra to Sphinx, depending on what your body needs. 3 minutes has already started. Now, I'm going to trust that at this stage in your practice, if your body tells you to come out or adjust, you are going to come out or adjust. You can move in and out of your Cobra pose a few times. Noticing the difference again between your fidgeting and active exploration. Cobra pose is traditionally small, but if it feels good to you, come up higher in the posture. For some bodies and for some needs, coming up higher is completely appropriate. Depends how it feels in your lower back. Now we still have 2 more minutes. So either alternating between Sphinx and Cobra or holding one posture. Noticing the quality of the breath. Paying attention to your body and paying attention to what's going on between the ears. It may feel good for you to turn your head from side to side. Get a little rotation in your neck. Reach back through all 10 toes, spread your toes. We have 1 more minute here. Stretch your inhales. Stretch your exhales. Active exploration. Different than fidgeting. Notice where you can expand. And then notice where you can stabilize. 2 more breaths. Slowly, slowly release. Now, make a little pillow with your hands, elbows bent out to the side. Bend your knees. And just let your feet move from side to side. Little windshield wiper twist with the knees bent. And slowly straighten your knees. Place your palms flat right alongside your chest. First, lift in your stomach, your navel. Press to your knees. And step your knees a little forward. Then bring your knees close together. Now, bring your right knee into your midline. And bring the left knee behind your right, so your feet are out to the side. Walk your hands back towards your knees, and on an exhale, begin to sit back between your heels. We're going to move in and out of this and not stay. Inhale, rise up onto fingertips or hands and knees, and then exhale as you sit back. So we're just moving through, working towards cow face pose, Gomukhasana. 2 more times. Exhale as you sit back, as if you were coming into the pose, but we're not. And then inhale. Remember, it's about the process. And exhale. And then we rise up, all fours, uncross your knees, and we'll change sides. Left knee in towards the midline, right knee behind. Take the feet out to the side, then walk your hands in. Be on palms or fingertips or knuckles, and exhale as you sit back. Inhale, rise up. Exhale as you sit back. Slowly stretch your inhale as you rise up. Nowhere to be, nothing to do. We're just doing this. Being in the process. 2 more. And we rise up. Walk your hands forward. Uncross your knees. And for our transition, let's curl the toes. Exhale, lift your hips up and back to down dog. And slowly walk your feet forward to your hands. Come into your halfway position, spread your toes, press your feet. Exhale, bow, hollow stomach, relax your head. Arms open, rise up to stand. Exhale, hands to your heart. And release. Now, we'll come into triangle pose. And if you use a block with triangle, feel free to use a block. We will be holding it a little bit longer. If you're not using a block, don't use a block. So I'm first going to mirror you again. Turn your feet to the right. Align heel to heel, back toes turned in a little more than your heel. Block in your right hand, arms open. On an exhale, begin to hinge. Let the left side of your pelvis lift up. Now, remember here, again, you've heard it over and over, but active exploration in a pose is so valuable because there are so many ways to do every single posture that are good and healing. There's not one right way. And just notice the difference between that and when your mind wants to fidget and therefore you start to fidget in your body. Okay, so feel free. Our 3 minutes has started. Feel free to adjust the posture, especially in triangle. If you bring your feet closer together, it'll make your spine work more. If you take your feet wider apart, longer apart, it will give you more stretch in the inner thighs and hamstrings. Many ways to practice triangle. Go for the priority of lengthening both sides of your waist. And beyond that, there's a lot of exploration to do. So we've got for 2.5 more minutes. Quality in your breath. Stretching the inhales, stretching the exhales. Lift your toes and either enjoy being still or on purpose, explore the pose with little changes. And I do need to say that if you do feel this posture in your lower back, you're probably in a back bend. Lift up out of the lower back. Absorb your front lower ribs in. Notice for today, new day, where it feels best to have your gaze, your neck, your head, your top arm. The top arm, that palm, if you're reaching up, you can press it forward as if you're pressing it into a ball. That will create some sense of proprioception and enable us to use our core more. Toes lifted, front kneecap lifted, both sides of the waist long. Enjoying the practice, the process of the breath here. Just take 2 more long, full breath cycles. Nothing to do but breathe here. 1 more. Now pause here, inhale. On an exhale, rise up. Shake it out. And we'll change sides. Turn your feet to the left, heel to heel. If you're mirroring me now, block in your left hand if you're using a block. Toes lifted, and on an exhale, reach, reach, lengthen that underneath side waist. You may notice that I'm using the block the tall way at first, just easing into it. Again, along those lines of it's a process. You don't have to just come into the pose and hit it, right? Maybe reach the top arm up, toes lifted, and our 3 minutes has begun. Front thigh is an external rotation, front kneecap lifting. Exploring on this side where it feels best in your gaze, where it feels best in your neck. Looking up at the top hand can help to strengthen the neck in rotation. Looking straight forward towards me can help strengthen the neck, both sides of the neck. And looking down can sometimes stretch the neck. Again, no right or wrong, just different. And this is your time to really explore. And notice that what you feel today will probably be different than tomorrow and in 10 years from now. Lengthen both sides of your waist. Toes lifted. Give yourself this gift of just being in triangle pose and breathing. Hitting that pause button, noticing. Noticing instead of moving fast to what comes next, or rushing through to get it done. The gift is being right here. We've got just a few more breaths on this side. Feel free to adjust if your body says to. Explore or pause in the stillness. Now, if you're using a block, or simply set it to the side, and on an exhale, rise up. And we'll pause here. Step your feet a little closer together, and from the tops of your thighs, turn your thighs, knees, and feet in some. Now, hands to your pelvis. Draw the shoulder heads back. Inhale, lift your chest. Lift in the front of your pelvis. Exhale as you hinge forward, tops of thighs draw back. Release your hands, relax your head. Now take hold of your big toes, first two fingers and thumb. Inhale, lift your chest, lengthen the front of your spine, widen your collarbones. And on an exhale, slowly bend your elbows open to the side, shoulders slide up out of your ears, and reach the crown of your head down towards the earth here. And just like any forward fold, if the backs of your legs or your spine feels tight, go ahead and bend your knees. You can shift your hips a little from side to side. Notice what's going on in your mind. No right or wrong, no judgment, just notice. That's the practice. Initial practice is noticing our body and our breath. And the more advanced practice is watching the mind. And then placing the mind where we want it to be. Now release your hands. Bend your knees a little bit if they're straight. Heel toe your feet closer together. Hands to your hips. And with a flat back, inhale, rise up. All right. We'll come into a balanced posture. We'll move into a fairly simple balance pose. Tree posture. So If you know other variations of tree that you'd like to take, feel free, obviously. I'm not right there with you, so I can't stop you anyway. No, really feel free to take your tree variations. There's some really nice hip opening variations. And this will be a longer hold. If you would like to challenge your balance, then I encourage you to stand on your block, stand on at the low height. If your block is really squishy, that'll make it more challenging. First, stand on your right foot and just let your left foot swing. Get a little ease here. Shake out your hands, that leg. Remember, long holds and a heat building or tapas practice doesn't mean building tension, right? Two different things. That's not what we're going for. So gently memorize the sense of ease here and then come into your tree posture, your version. Arms open, palms up, and then either reach your arms up or come into V arms with the palms forward, hands and arms a little wider. Now this is just a 2-minute hold. Our 2 minutes has begun. Make sure that you're not in a back bend here. And even here, as you reach your arms up, soften around your neck and your shoulders. And also press your palms a little forward, as if you're pressing your hands into a wall in front of you. And again, you'll find that little sense of proprioception. As the palms press forward, that helps to lift you up out of your lower back and draw your ribs in. Notice what's going on in your brain. And notice as you strengthen and expand in your body, notice those places that can soften. As if this is all that there is. Us here together, breathing in tree pose. Now again, creating that resistance ourselves, that will help create strength. Imagine that you're moving through thick mud as you release your arms, pressing the space down. Imagine that you're moving through thick mud as you step that raised foot down. Step off the block if you're on it, and just shake it out. And we'll change sides. Standing on the floor of the block, get that footprint. Coming into tree, take the arm position that serves you. So remember, if the arms are open to the side, for most people that helps make balance a little bit easier. You can reach the arms up, come into V arms, cactus arms, your choice. And our 2 minutes has started. And if you haven't heard this before, I'll share it with you again as I fall out of the posture. One of Eric Schiffman's little quotes, I don't even know if it's a quote, it's so small, but I distinctly remember from teacher training over a decade ago, was him explaining being in a posture and approaching the posture and being in the posture as if it were the big event. As if this is all that you've been working towards and all that you've been waiting for, that your entire life has worked up to. This is it. This is the big event, right? This is what we've been working towards our entire life, is being here together on this particular day in this particular season, in this particular pose. Embrace that. Embracing here and this event, the big event that we've worked up towards. And it changes it. It changes the experience. It's not something just to get through, to get on to the next thing. This is it. For 2 more breaths, see if you can enjoy it more. See how you can make it feel even better. Move it around. Maybe you fall out. And then enjoy this big event of releasing. This is the big event, releasing from this posture. And step it down. Block to the side. I'm going to shake it out for a moment. Stand and notice. Step to the front of your mat. We'll move through one salutation, simply moving on the breath. Place your feet on an inhale. Circle the arms out to the side. Reach up. Open arms. Exhale. Folding forward. Empty everything. Inhale halfway. Fill up everywhere you can. Exhale, plank. On your next exhale, lower halfway or all the way. Cobra or your upward facing dog. Stretch the front of your body. And exhale, down dog. Come down onto your knees. We'll move right into Janu Shirsasana, head to foot pose or head to knee pose. Take your right leg forward. Right leg forward, left knee open to the side. Allow your pelvis to rotate as it will. Move what you can out from underneath your seat. Hands behind you first. Inhale. Lengthen both sides of your waist, and from your navel, turn your navel and chest towards that straight front knee. Begin to hinge forward with your hands behind you, or maybe walk your hands forward, maybe hold the foot. Remember, really try to let go of where you think you should be in this posture. Focus on lengthening your spine and coming into a place where there's a little bit of stretch sensation and where your breath is smooth and easy, and where you can pay attention to what's going on in your brain. That front heel, you press it down. If your front knee is straight, you lift the kneecap, engage your quadricep. Breathe your rib cage longer away from your pelvis. Breathing deeply into your heart area, expanding the front, back, and sides of your heart. And inhale, rise up. We'll change sides. Try to change sides, paying attention to the process. That process, the transition, is just as important, if not more important, than being in the pose. Use your hands behind you. You lengthen, you twist from your stomach, hinge forward either with your hands behind you or begin to walk them forward. Oftentimes for people, hands behind them is actually going to aid this posture, aid you in this posture a bit more. Gives you a little more leverage. And then straight away notice where your mind went. Final resting pose or being in a posture is not about making your mind completely still. Your mind is designed to work. It's designed to be active. That is a healthy mind, a healthy brain. But it's about noticing what's going on in the brain and in a gentle, loving way being able to harness it, putting our mind where we need it to be, where we want it to be, where it actually is of service. Take 2 more breaths here. And we rise up. Release, shake your legs out. Now we'll come onto our back and we'll take a longer hold in a supported bridge posture with the legs up. So know that you have the ability to adjust as you need to. We'll start in bridge, place the block. For most of us, the medium height will work well. And if this feels like enough of a back bend for you today, then just stay right here. If you'd like a little more of the inversion aspect, reach one leg up then the other. And just know that when you reach your legs up, chances are you will probably have to move the block up your spine towards your back waistband a little more than if your feet are just flat. So if you feel like you need to adjust the block, adjust the block. Most people need that little adjustment. Now we'll be here for 3 minutes. Gently bring your shoulder blades a little closer together. You can reach through your fingers or make fists. And if your legs are up in this position, just slowly point your toes and then one foot, flex the ankle. And then switch, point those toes, flex the other ankle. And just do this back and forth from side to side. Lift your chin. And then point through both toes, and slowly you'll have to part your legs a little bit. Circle your ankles in one direction a few times. And then circle your ankles the other direction a few times. And this is where I can't quite emphasize it enough. People just circle and point and flex their toes and ankles as if they're an afterthought. But really circle the ankles, switch directions again, as if this is just the most fascinating thing that you're going to do all day. Like, what would this be like? How would you do it? Now reverse the direction again. If this was truly the most interesting thing you're going to do all day, and it's not that it really is, but it puts our attention more into what we're doing when we think of it as fascinating and interesting. And then go back to pointing and flexing one ankle at a time. Instead of just going through the motions. That's what moving with resistance can also do for us. If we really move with resistance from side to side, it brings our brain and attention into the present moment. Now continue to move your feet and your toes around, or simply reach up and press through the balls of your feet. Continue to lift your chin and breathe here. We have 5 more breaths. Now try to make your inhales last a count or 2 longer. And make your exhales last a count or 2 longer. Allowing the shape of the posture, the energetics of the posture to soak in. That's why we hold them longer. If we rush through, the fragrance of the pose is not absorbed. And slowly bend one knee, then bend your other knee. Slowly place one foot down, then the other foot. Lift your hips just high enough to slide that block out from underneath and release your pelvis to the mat. Take your arms open, bend your elbows into cactus arms, pause here. Bring one knee into your chest, straighten the opposite leg down on the mat. Relax your shoulders, inhale. And with your exhale, hug both knees into your chest. Change sides. Reach the opposite leg long. Relax your shoulders. Inhale. And exhale, hug both knees in. Rock from side to side. And now cross one knee and thigh over the other, like you're sitting cross-legged in a chair. Use your hands to hug your knees into your chest. So this is like our reclined Gomukhasana, cow face pose. If this is enough stretch, stay here or lift your feet and then reach up, take hold of the outer edges and bring your feet more towards your shoulders. If this is not working for you, if it's hard to grab your feet, just hold on to your knees. Keep the front top of your chest open. Release, stretch the legs up. Externally rotate your legs first, and then open the legs up to the side, and just rock from side to side. We'll change sides, cross the other thigh and knee on top. Use your hands on your knees to hug them in, or reach up. Lift your feet a little, take the outer edges, relax your head, and bring your feet towards your shoulders. Try to keep the front of the chest wide open. Release, stretch the legs up, externally rotate your legs one more time, open them, rock from side to side. And bend the knees, bring them in close, step your feet flat. Straighten one leg down, then the other, stretch your arms back. Move into a full body stretch here for a couple of breaths. And then for today, I would suggest resting with your knees bent, feet flat. Take the feet wider and allow your knees to drop in towards each other. If there's another position that you would prefer to come into to rest, obviously do that instead. Take what's comfortable. Just place your hands on your lower belly. And we'll take 2 breaths together here with a little hold at the top and a little hold at the bottom. So first, get comfortable. Let your body settle and be heavy. Exhale all of your breath out. Stay heavy in the body as you inhale through your nose. Slowly as you can, as long as you can. Now hold your breath in at the top. See if you can take in more breath, more breath, more breath. Open your mouth and from the back of your throat, exhale. We'll do that one more time. Relax the body, heavy through your nose. A long, slow inhale. Fill up, continue to fill up. Hold. Body is relaxed. And mouth exhale. Relax your breath. Relax your body, your bones, your muscles, your organs, your heart, your skin. Your eyelids and your eyeballs soft, forehead soft. Giving a little internal thanks to your body for all that it does every single day. Giving thanks for your heart, your muscles, your brain, your breath. It's all a massive gift and miracle. Now, I encourage you to stay here in final resting pose just as long as you can. And when you do make your way up and out into the rest of your day, just do so slowly. Drink some extra water. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon.